To empathize with human emotions means to understand their weaknesses. The weakness of the victim, the weakness of the accused. Day after day after day after day, I was fed up with it. Ugly, that's what I thought every time I tried to help another person. People are weak and ugly, until that point at the very least. The only thing fair about life is how unfair it is to everyone, whether it's the normal world of Jujutsu Kaisen or the sorcerer's side of things. Everyone suffers, some more than others, but one thing is for sure, and that's that everyone suffers in this life. Other than normal or abnormal life circumstances, the disaster of nature, or the damage that results from pure negative human emotions. The thing that is unfair more than anything is not the reality of life, but the systems built within it. The systems of oppressive traditions, immoral hierarchies of safety, and forced and unfair judgments. Systems that are built by humans can never be perfect. Never in real life nor in Jujutsu Kaisen have humans been fair. People get accused of false claims and they are punished for them. In the world of Jujutsu Kaisen, filled with intricacies and injustice, one man questions this whole thing. Without much power and going against a big system, he cannot fight alone. He reflects and wonders about what is right and what is wrong. What can a simple lawyer do when even the whole court decides that whoever is standing in front of them, and for whatever reason, is guilty? To satisfy the majority, to keep up the trend of guilty until proven innocent. But in some cases, even if proven innocent, you are still guilty. Higuruma is a good man at heart. Since childhood, he simply wanted to help weak people. So he became a lawyer in order to defend those who were granted unfairness. But time and time again, he is challenged by a power much bigger than his. Even his assistants found it extreme of him to go to these lengths. In order to save these people, being looked at with disgust, talked about in news and ridiculed. Even though he is doing the right thing, being looked at with anger and disappointment by the very people he is trying to save. Can the eyes of the majority not see the truth? Can people's eyes not see the innocence and unfairness that is forced upon them? Can they not see the truth? The truth of a man defending them. Higuruma refers to Lady Justice, who has her eyes covered, as a means of unbiased judgment, and he refers to the people around him who would rather not look at the truth. So he decides to at least keep his eyes open. The hard work he puts in is almost never rewarded, and the effort is worthless. Saying that the innocents are only angry at him because of their mental health, making their own assistant ask about his own. Higuruma, before appearing in the Cooling Games, had 2 cases that summarized his perspective on justice, on the system that grants it, and on his own position in such system. He ended up losing both cases, and the people who he desperately tried to defend were sentenced to death or sent to prison. And it's through seeing a portion of his life and the perspective of those next to him that we begin to understand what follows. Higuruma was fed up by this and decided to do a 3rd retrial by himself, against the laws, against the system, and more importantly, against himself. Whatever followed in that court definitely isn't something good. We don't know what happened, but whatever it is, it was not right. Because, simply put, Higuruma here was not driven by justice nor heroism, but by his own negative emotions. And after awakening his powers and participating in the Cooling Games, Higuruma killed 20 people. His moral compass got broken after the cases. He soaked himself in a bathtub in the middle of a theater. He cracked some jokes and tried to be sarcastic. He basically changed completely. He found freedom in it, and because the Culling Game's rules are stable and inevitable, he believed that it is a system better than the one he was in. Not perfect, but at least better. He threw all the things he believed in and lived following the rules of this new space he is in. These new rules, this new power, and this new Higuruma. That's why he will not allow anyone to change those rules. And challenged by Itadori, who is coming after his points, Higuruma witnesses the biggest example of unfairness and the most important case in his life. The case of Itadori Yuji. Without spending much time talking, the two of them get into a fight. And as soon as they begin, Higuruma lays his domain expansion, which essentially is a forced judgment that you will be punished for, controlled by a judge-man who knows everything about whoever is in the domain. Itadori is trapped. The first trial is a minor case that Itadori loses, and because Itadori doesn't have a technique, his cursed energy itself gets removed. They fight and Itadori demands a second trial, but the unexpected happens and Itadori's biggest nightmare is brought up, in front of an objective entity that will judge him and an evidence that is most likely against him. Itadori gets accused of the massacre that happened in Shibuya, something that he knows he did not do, but the demon that is sharing his body was behind it. Itadori admits that he was the one responsible for it. And then and there is where Higuruma's reality gets shattered again. Everything that Higuruma believed in gets flipped upside down. Why did Itadori admit to something he did not do? Higuruma knows that Itadori is innocent. While most innocent people would swear that they aren't guilty, this kid admits what he would never do. The look on his eyes say it all. He is shocked, again, by the unfairness of life, but more importantly by the tenacity of the person standing in front of him. The look on Itadori's eyes is not like any that he has seen before. It's much more determined, it's purer. While Higuruma said he will keep his eyes open, Judge Man's eyes are literally sewed shut. It literally cannot see. Even when he was giving the judgment while exploding of anger and rage, its eyes got open wide, but still there are no pupils. Therefore it still cannot see. This strong symbolic usage of the eyes shows us and shows Higuruma that what we see is not always right, and that most people would rather not see the truth. And based on that, systems built by such people cannot always be right. And according to the statistics, they almost never are. And the power that comes from cursed energy and the world of negative cursed energy is also flawed. It might be more strict and honest, but it's not right. Judge Man is a curse. It only saw the individual that Itadori is as the same as Sukuna, because they reside in the same body, therefore it's one person. Therefore he is guilty. So no world that Higuruma believed in can be just. But at least he sees the truth. He lost intentionally to Itadori, while taking a last look into his eyes to confirm what he felt. He is met with the same honest, determined eyes, and he closes his own eyes. Higuruma went against the judgment and protected Itadori by closing his own eyes. He knew that what he saw was not the truth, and it was not right. So this one time he closed his eyes. Higuruma asks, "Why did you admit what you did not do?" Itadori answers by saying that he is weak, therefore it's his own fault. Something very interesting, but we will leave that for another video. Higuruma accepts that the Culling Game is not a right system, and he agrees to give his points to Itadori. And my guess is that he would rather stick around to see what awaits this kid. The way the background disappears from the panels and they pull chairs to sit on. Something that reminded me of Kugisaki, who already told Itadori that seats in her hearts are limited, so she would like to carefully select who gets them. But there are also people like him who force their way in and take a seat in someone's life, which is exactly what I believe is happening with Higuruma right now, because he can't simply come back to the normal world after what he did. Plus, there is no normal world anymore, and he realized that the calling game is not the right way. So where would he put his time, power, and sense of justice in use other than being a Jujutsu sorcerer, by the side of a person he can relate to? Him and Itadori, who both hate taking lives, but already did take lives. After previously saying that it felt good, he now says it felt awful. He was just trying to escape from the truth as well. But his heart is stronger than that. The heart of the hero that the world of Jujutsu Kaisen needed. Someone who can guide us through this world of injustice, the world of unfairness, in a story where killing people and saving lives are a complex question, explored by all of the characters within it, where the innocent gets punished and the guilty untouched. In the flawed reality of Jujutsu Kaisen, following the very first words in this video, Hiromi Higuruma says, "I was fed up with it. Ugly, that's what I thought every time I tried to save another person. People are weak and ugly. Until that point, at the very least, I thought I should value that very depravity which other animals don't have." Many thanks for watching.